So this is part 2, and there was a little interruption by accident. I tried to do one little thing on my phone and it stopped my video. So really I haven't done anything yet. I just continue doing what I was doing. So at this point I'm still working on the shapes, big shapes. I'm still going through all big shapes, refining them, not going into the details with small brush. Maybe some of them I will not go with small details at all. So I'm working, refining, see where because I was painting fast, maybe I didn't look at all the correct silhouettes and contours, and that's what I'm going to do now. I'm still not 100% happy with this rose, so I'll keep working on it. Just know that it has this yellow middle here, so it kind of goes back there as well. So I think I a little bit overworked it, so I may leave it and come back later, because only some petals here seen. I'll leave that rose. It's not the main rose, so not the star of the show. So I kind of try to also unify it a little. See if that works. Trying to add a little bit of terra rossa in there, mix it with what it had in it. Yeah. At the same time I want to go to the rose at the back and add a little bit more light in these areas, just kind of indication of transparency of petals as well. And I think I will go to the roses on the right and finish those. So those roses don't need too much of work as well, because they're the background. So I'll just put this warm color here on this part, warm color here. You can see also warm color there and there, and a little bit of purple. So just a touch of purple with some white, the same ultramarine, alizarin and white, but not very saturated, so I kind of mixed it with some kind of gray, so that purple comes here. And then I'm using this white with touch of yellow-green. So there's one distinct petal that goes on this rose, and that's what I want to indicate more than anything else. And then there is one going under here. And then there is another one here, maybe too light. I don't want too much contrast. So now I'm going to break it with greens, so it will look nice, the one that I have here. So I have one green leaf going this way. I have another one green leaf going that way. And again, I'm painting them very loosely and not very distinct, because there is one leaf going there, one there. So mixing it with background color as well. So this rose kind of covered by leaves, so that's why I want to paint leaves first and then see what's left of the rose. Maybe I don't have to paint the rose at all. And it kind of goes off canvas as well. Yes, it's beautiful rose, because it looks like grows in nature. The head is bent and has this nice pinks in there that I would like to paint, but I may not have space for it. It kind of goes off canvas, and I did it but on purpose, so that gives a more natural look. It doesn't have to be all fit in one picture, so I tried to do that. So I'm mixing more purple at this point, ultramarine, alizarin and white, and adding some gray because I see that purple there. Oh, there is another rose down there that I didn't paint at all because it's not seen that much, but I still want to add indication of it, like this one. Now I'm going to mix some white and do some main petals on it. So that rose at the background, really not much to do with it. And this rose is, so this is the main petal. And there are overlapping petals there as well. The kind of purple yellow type. Okay. So more light actually on this one, the one that with distinct petal. And I reduced contrast a little on that rose. So what I want to paint on this rose is to indicate that it actually looks back. So normally at the very base of it there is this nice warmth that I want to indicate. And the same this one, there is this nice warmth, and then there is almost like, I think it has reddish brown to it area. Yeah, one, I think I will use Terra Rosa in this case. And I will do more leaf area. So this leaf goes actually all over this rose, so that's why I wasn't sure if I should paint it. So I'm going to mix some viridian and transparent red oxide, a thicker. And I'll add some of the green mixture I had. It was a mix of really everything. So I just want to indicate these leaves because they're in the light, but they're not too light and too pronounced. I'm trying to squint, see. Maybe I will work on those leaves and see what needed later. But at this point, because these are background roses, I don't need to do it. So I'm going to go back to my glass now. There is some blue and some brown. I also want to fill some greens a little bit more, because I see leaves passing here through the glass, some leaf turning that way, another one turning that way, some there. So because they're through the glass, they're not as sharp and obvious. That's why it's not very clear. So I'll try to look for the lightest stems. I'll mix some nice, at this point I have lots of colors on the palette, so I'm going to mix some nice green that will be bright enough. So I'm going to use viridian and cadmium yellow light and some white, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre and more white, so it kind of gives me this nice color, so because I can see it in some areas. I don't think I'll paint all stems, but the ones that I see clearly. And while I have this color, I'm going to do this leaves that were lighter. Actually, I'm going to make it a little cooler. To add a tiny bit of brown to it. Maybe it's a little bit too cool, but I'm going to kind of mute it. Okay, so I think there are some leaves here as well at the back that can be used with some of this color where light falls on them. I noticed that there is much more warmth with green and brown in this area, so I want to make sure I don't miss it. It's actually much darker than I got it. So going back to glass, I will try to do the lightest parts of the glass where the light goes through. So this is the lightest part of it. And it goes all the way here. So I'm using for lightest I was using white and cadmium yellow deep. There is some thicker glass here. There is some darker accent as well in the glass. And I'm going to use a little bit lighter than my background color because light really hits this part right now. So I've added a little bit of that, and I think I need to do my highlight before I forgot about it. So I'm going to use white and touch whatever gray I had there. Really, highlight is cool. And then I will go and use more white with cool. I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use a smaller brush, clean brush, pick it up and add a touch of ultramarine in that highlight, and then I will just do like this. And then I'll maybe make it a little bit thicker in the area where it's, again, I don't want to mess with it, but at the same time I want to get it in the right shape. while I'm with this brush, do this. Big brush is actually very good because you put shapes fast, you don't think too much about it, like a small brush. So I prefer big brushes personally for everything, wherever I can get away with it. And then I do detail only when I have to. It's just the way I approach painting at this point. Maybe I'll change later. I used not to paint any detail at all. Now I paint much more than I used to. So hopefully at some point I'll have enough patience to paint even more detail, but to tell the truth, I don't think that's needed. So I'll put some brown here, brown green. I'm still not sure what I missed this area. I think I'll do leaf like this, and maybe I'll do more muted petals on this one. I just noticed that the same as here. Sometimes you need to put just not very bright colors, so the bright colors will look good. It's too bright. I think it will work for now. So the area where glass is light, I think I will going to do just a little bit more colorful. Yeah, so that will look better. Gives more dimension to the glass. There's some, I can see some light here as well. I think I'll add a tiny bit of light, this light here. Yeah, so I think the glass I will leave as it is. I may do a little bit of kind of like I do sometimes, just across. Well, I'm not sure with this one. Yeah, just to kind of soften it a little. So at this point something happened to my brush, came off. That never happened before actually to me, unless it was a really bad cheap brush. So maybe I need to glue it, because this brush is not that bad. At least it's been so far. So I think I'm done with majority of my painting, and what I need to do, I'm going to put a thicker layer on the tabletop and just work maybe some little details like on the background, but apart from that I'm done, and I think I shouldn't overwork it. So I'm going to put a thicker layer on background, but you've seen how I do background in the past, so that's pretty basic, filling in information as you go. Just put light, darker areas that are already indicated. I will do it with more attention. Not going to do anything on this rose, or maybe I'll do a little bit more here, just to emphasize these cast shadows. A little do a little bit more on leaves, especially leaves that kind of here overlap one leaf. To do no paint. And then there is one leaf at the back. Need to paint around it. Paint around this leaf. I don't want to put, I think I made it up and didn't work, because I shouldn't make it up. I just paint what is there, nothing else. So, and there is just a very end of this leaf, maybe too brown. I think the end of this leaf and end of this leaf. And I'm going to use a little bit of dark accent. I think that's about it. Maybe a little bit more dark, because I can see it comes under that leaf. A little bit greener area. I think that's what casting more shadow on this rose, yeah. Maybe not as bright again. Have to mute it. And mute it more. Actually, at this point I'm going to use, to mute, I'm going to use that color that I scraped off the panel, the one that I just a little bit more white. And my brush at this point is very dirty. I really shouldn't use it like this, but because it's background, I thought I would get away with it. But if it's not background, I shouldn't do this. I mean the back rose at the back, that not that noticeable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to also use on look at the shapes of these roses. Try to see which petals turned which way. Still working with a big brush because I think it's easier for me. There are lots of different accents in these roses. I'm trying to use this green gold actually, because I think that's what I have here. Yeah, that makes it a very nice deep color. Because I lost some of this, I'm bringing it back. Then I'm going to use some clean color, mixing some white with some card red light and card yellow deep. I think I'm out of that white, so just to emphasize it rose a little bit more. Only the petals that needed that change the shape. I probably will do the same with the rose up here. Unfortunately, I ran out of my white. Need to squeeze more. Because being lazy, not squeezing the right color brings mud. I learned it through my own experience, so never be lazy to squeeze the color you need. Otherwise it will turn into mud. Okay, so I probably will finish the video by now, but I will work a little bit more with a smaller shape later. Take a little break, and I hope you enjoy this video and hope you like painting roses. They're challenging, but it's very rewarding when you learn something every time you paint rose. I used to be very intimidated by roses, and I think I am still, but if you don't try and don't keep painting, then probably you would not improve. So keep trying painting roses. I actually did exercise. I was doing one rose at a time, and that was a good experience as well. Then you don't commit yourself to anything, and you can even throw it away if you don't like it. And I used it on leftover canvas actually, so that wasn't a big problem then. Actually, it works out better when you don't commit yourself and don't think, oh, what if I spoil this beautiful canvas. So I can actually show this. I don't know if it's very far or not. I think I will show this little tip that I did. Maybe it will be useful for someone. And I will also show my palette. Actually, I wiped it off, so not much to show. It was basically going back and forth with the same. So I'm going to show my roses that I was doing. So these are the roses. I'll turn it other way around. So this is a painting. It's upside down, sorry, but it's painting one rose at a time, or like one flower at a time. And as you can see, I'll keep it further. I kind of taped it like this. So at this point I can show. Yeah, so I taped it and I used like one rose at a time painting, when just roses started in spring, and then irises. And also, if you worry that you will not have time to paint everything, then you can do it as well, and at least you capture something. So I'll show this a little closer. So that's how paint looks a little closer, where I used more paint, where I used less. So I'm going to finish it, and probably I'll put the finished painting as a beginning for this video. And also I probably will put it on Instagram if I don't spoil it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll try to make more flower roses before they finish and before the winter comes. So I'll see you soon. Bye.